Hey there, gang. So today, today I attempted to make a video about forgiveness. Something that the Father put it in me early today, and and I had tried to get up and do that, um, and I had a lot of resistance. Um, I I understand that I'm saying things that the enemy doesn't want me to say. I'm saying things that spiritual forces that don't necessarily like the Father's creation or His anointed uh, resists and fights against, and I have to make peace with that fact. So I'm trying it again today, now, and so I the Father had put it in me to speak about the importance of forgiveness, and but not just the importance of forgiveness, but how how to go about uh, getting ourselves to that place of healing, uh, and how to pinpoint uh, the root and the origination, the origin, actually, the origination, the origin of how of where it all started. Uh, as adults, we often struggle with things that harmed us, with things that we went through in our childhood, and and we suffer because of it, when those incidents and those situations go unchecked. Uh, Specifically, I guess I'm talking about individuals that had traumatic experience, as in their childhood, whether it be an abusive parent. More often than not, it's a guardian, it's an abusive parent, or whatever the case may be, any kind of guardian. It could be suffering a narcissistic spirit coming from one of your guardians or your parents. It could be physical abuse. All abuse ends up being mental abuse, whether it's some physical or not. And then we grow up, and a lot of us, because when we're children, when we're young, we don't know that we're being damaged. We don't know any better. Uh, all we know is that these human beings, these people these are our family, our guardians, our parents, and they're been placed. They're the ones in place. We think that we suppose that they have our best interest at heart, and that they're actually trying. We don't know any better as children. So we don't understand that it isn't normal for certain types of behaviors. We don't understand that. So time passes and we grow up with those inconsistencies, and that indoctrination, because it becomes an indoctrination of belief, that this is an acceptable behavior in some in your the back of your head, in your psyche, and your psychologically it becomes a part of you, uh, even though it's wrong because you didn't know any better. So we get to be adults and we struggle from that abuse. We struggle from the lack of dealing with the lack of knowledge. Really, it's just like the Bible says, but people perish for lack of knowledge. And and you can break that down in so many ways. But we suffer a lot from not knowing uh, what was done to us, uh, and what it represented and what it meant. And as an adult, you tend to brush things off, and you just you build up some kind of a uh, build up some kind of a wall to keep you from breaking up, from falling apart, and from breaking down, and you develop a defense mechanism, all psychologically. You develop this, and but it doesn't. All you do is mask. You mask the issue. You never really get to the root of the issue. So starting, just you're an adult, and certain situations happen, and certain people walk into your life, uh, here and there, or whether it be at a job or a group of friends or whatever the case may be, and and they display signs and symptoms of the same abuse or the same type of behaviors, that inconsistencies that you endured as a child, and immediately it clicks, and and it wants to trigger that defense mechanism, but that defense mechanism again is not correct, right? It's just a wall. It's just a wall, and that wall could be a full blown uh, feedback. There's a action and reaction type of situation, or it could be just like a shutdown, or it could be in many ways when you don't know what you're dealing with. And so this is all before you realizing what the root of your issue is, and mind you, this is not to excuse uh, those that harm you as an adult. It's not to excuse those that do harm, or that don't have your best interest at heart, and they wrong you. It's not to excuse their bad behavior. Is just so that um, you no longer get hurt when you encounter the same situation that you did as a child. It's a healing process. So in order to find forgiveness, because you need to forgive, but everything works in a scale, right? So it's important to forgive, because there is no spiritual growth. There's no moving forward if you don't forgive. If all you have in your heart, if your heart is full of anger and hate and hatred, and oh, I want to see them do bad, and I hope that things happen 10 times worse for them. Then if that's what's inside of your heart, there's no room for love. There's no room for growth. That's just a fact of the matter. But in order for you to get to that point of forgiveness, you first have to get to that point of healing. And in order to get to that point of healing, you got to get to the root uh, of your issue, and face and open yourself up, and uh, uh, to to the reality of your situation, rather than to mask it, or to look for a pat on the back, from certain individuals, or even therapists. You might go to a therapist that might pat you on the back, a therapist that may be qualified in an area, but not in the specific area that you need for him to be qualified in order to help you, you know? So like but in my case, I found that my best therapy is the Father himself, when you find yourself, when you truly humble yourself in front of your creator, you go to your quiet place and you humble yourself, and there's nothing hidden. You can't hide anything in front of your creator. There's nothing to hide. There's nothing to be ashamed of. All there is just you admitting and telling the Father, hey, I have this problem, this happened to me, and this is how I feel about this, and I need your help. I need you to help me. And you'll see that the Spirit of the Father will start to come in and start to give you peace, and bit by bit, even understanding, even knowledge and wisdom on the situation. Basically, what the Spirit of the Father does when you empty yourself from your carnality, the Spirit of the Father, it gives you sight. It gives you a broader view, uh, to the point where you're now able to look at your oppressor, in that childhood situation, and you're able to see and understand what what could have caused that individual to be that way. And like the Spirit has no limits. The Spirit of the Father just comes in and starts to bring light to the situation, because it's not just blindly like, oh, I'm just gonna, oh, I give it to God. No, the Spirit of the Father gives you clarity on things, but you have to have a humble heart, and a true humble heart, and um in that process, so yeah, healing comes first. Healing comes first. I'm sorry. I would say that would be the second thing. The first thing is getting back to that root. Opening that wound. You have to touch that wound again. You have to be. You have to become vulnerable in front of your Creator, and open that wound, and then work from there, and allow the Father to help you, and the Spirit of the Father will start to help you heal, and then the healing comes in. And then once the healing comes in, you see that it's a train effect. You're able to forgive now and mean it in your heart, and you will no longer have, and it's not to say, I mean, I get angry all the time. I just stuff, it's not to say that you won't get upset when someone, uh, does something that you clearly know that this person is doing this on purpose, but like there's deeper reasons behind everything, that the Spirit can reveal to you. So yeah, getting to the root of the problem, uh, in order humbling yourself to your Creator and presenting that situation, so that you can heal, and and then the forgiveness comes. If you can't get to the forgiveness part, and you walk, you go through your whole life, just winging it, just putting up those walls, those emotional, psychological walls that they're basically like masks. You put on these hard masks, this armor, uh, around the wound. You never actually heal the wound. You'll continue to make it's a it's a it's kind of like a how can I it's kind of like a it's like a bad rash. It's like a I don't it's like a bad skin rash. It's like you don't treat it like a fungus on your skin. You don't treat it and the fungus starts to eat the good flesh more and more. It gets bigger and bigger, like athlete's foot, kind of, and you don't do anything to treat it. All you do is cover it up. You're just covering it up, and underneath those covers, that fungus keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. That's basically it. That's what you're doing when you don't address it, and eventually it covers your whole body. It covers you from head to toe, and you're no longer able to hide it. There's no piece of clothing. There's no cover that's able to hide it. See, but you don't have to hide it. You can cure it. You can heal it. You can allow the physician, the great physician, to heal it, so that you may find that forgiveness that you need to find and continue to grow. And so, yeah, that's that's the gist of it. I'm tired. I'm sorry. I'm trying to be obedient, man. I felt terrible today. I try to do this video, and I know the enemy's been busting my balls, uh, just causing resistance, just like like the little things that these devils know, the demons know what what makes me tick, and it's always just the dumbest things, the littlest things, like the coffee pots not freaking doing coffee pot things, and just like, and then my dog starts going back and forth, and then like there's a weed whacker in the backyard, in the background, and I'm like, what the hell, it's just, and it really isn't. It's all spiritual. It really isn't even. It's not that my dog bothers me, and it's not. It isn't any of those things. It's that the enemy was already working me before I opened my eyes. He was already working me, because those spiritual forces don't want you to speak. They don't want you to speak truth, and they don't want you to speak light that comes from the Father into people's life. The enemy doesn't want you to speak life into anybody. And death is the only thing they're interested in. So, but yeah, the importance of forgiveness. There's a lot. There's a lot behind that. But we're believers. We have the Father, the Spirit of the Father, to our disposal. Our uh, at will, to help us, and we need to be better with that, and truly humble ourselves and ask the Father to step in and help us with those things that we struggle with. So yeah, there's a lot more I can say on forgiveness, and maybe I will in another video. And there's so much more. It's just I just said the gist of it, but there's like a lot of details in between that explain better what I'm the message I'm trying to get through. But uh, just take it to Dad, take it to your Father, take it to your Creator. Take it to Him. Just take it to Him. You know, learn how meaningful, how important it is for you to fully open yourself up in the presence of your Creator. He's the only one that you should trust enough to, the only one that you should trust enough to open your heart fully. You shouldn't do this with any other human being. Nobody, not even your spouse. It's good for you to be open with your spouse, but there's no one that is more worthy and capable than your Creator, than your Father in heaven. And there's nothing that you can't bring to your Father in heaven that will surprise Him. about you, about anything. And you have to learn. It's just, I guess, a reminder, we have to learn or remind ourselves of this fact. We have to learn how to be um, more vulnerable, more open in the presence of our Creator. And to take, there's nothing too silly that you can't take to your Father in heaven, So, yeah, be truthful, be real. You don't have to fool anybody when you're in the presence of the Father. You can't fool your Father in heaven. You can't fool him. There's no reason to put up a mask. Just come as you are. Come as you are. And the Spirit of the Father will do the rest. And that's the beginning. That's where you start to grow, when you mean it from your heart. But it really comes down uh, to that rich young ruler. See, a lot of people, especially these big city preachers and other folks, uh, they like to think that parable was about money. Nothing Jesus was talking about was that shallow. Even when he spoke about money, he's talking about the difference between the kingdoms of this world and the kingdom of Yah. That's what Joshua was talking about. That's what he was talking about. He was talking about the kingdom of heaven. The rich young ruler is the carnal mind that's in love with everything that this world has to offer. The flesh. See, the flesh doesn't. I saw this. It was so clever and true. I saw this in one of this biblical inspirational pages that I follow, and it's something to the effect of your flesh doesn't care about uh, redemption because it knows that it's not going, something like that. It doesn't care about heaven because it knows it's not going, something like that. Doesn't care about salvation, and that's just a fact of it. Your flesh does not care. Your flesh is not willing. Your flesh does not want to do the right thing. Your flesh does not want to seek the kingdom of heaven. Your flesh wants the things of this world, and we have to identify that the difference between the kingdom of our Father in heaven and the kingdoms of this world. We have to learn how to separate those two, because there's a lot of folks that are blinded, thinking that they're doing for the kingdom of the Father, kingdom of heaven, in the actions that they're taking. And in reality, they're neglecting so much. They're neglecting so much when it comes to the kingdom of the Father. And they mistreat people, and they sacrifice good hearts for the sake of the kingdoms of men. And then they say they're doing it for Yah. But yeah. Anyways, I'm sorry for the rambling, and I'm trying, guys. I'm trying. I'm really trying, and it just when 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 something puts me off my zone, and I'm not able to like let the Spirit of the Father like come in, and like I feel it. I know that the resistance, there's a resistance. I can't come forth, and because that energy transfers, you'll be able to feel that energy of my frustration, and that's not what I'm trying to convey. I'm not trying to spread frustration. I'm trying to show you the clarity that the Father shows me. So, anyways, thank you for watching. Uh, thank you for caring, not watching. I should say. Thank you for caring enough to listen to what I got to say, and I hope that you have a great rest of your day, whatever time you may be watching this. All right, bless you.